Celeb Savant is a career retrospective type interview focusing on singers, actors, and industry experts. Join Barrett Edelstein now as he dives into the entertainment world.
Iaco is a New York and Rome-based artist, songwriter, and producer working in the melodic dance and pop space. His sound blends the uplifting, emotionally driven energy of early tropical house with the soaring chord progressions and vocal-forward songwriting that defined the golden era of melodic dance music. Drawing inspiration from artists like Kygo, Matoma, and Avicii, Iaco creates music built around rich melodies, heartfelt vocals, and powerful hooks, designed to resonate both on global streaming platforms and across the dance floor. As a producer and songwriter, he moves fluidly across multiple subgenres within dance music while also crafting polished pop productions. Splitting his time between New York and Rome, Iaco actively collaborates with artists and writers through both in-person studio sessions and remote writing sessions around the world, continually expanding his global creative network. Up next on Celeb Savant, we've got Iaco. Where in the world are you and how are you doing?
Great. I'm in Rome actually right now, and I'm doing great. So yeah, thanks for having me.
How, where, and in what space, or what was the inspiration behind the chosen name of your stage name?
So it's actually very, very simple. It's half of my last name. So a lot of my friends used to call me, my last name is Iacovelli. So half of it is Iaco. So my friends used to call me Iaco. So I was like, you know what? It's short. It's easy. Iaco. There we go.
Now let's rewind. At what age, whether as a child or teenager, did you think, okay, I want to be in this creative world, and how did that journey progress?
So it was actually pretty recently. I've always had a passion for music, listening to music. You know, my mom is very into music, so every morning she'd be playing like music. So I grew up around music, definitely. But it was actually during the first quarantine in 2020 where I had a lot of time on my hands, and I had kind of this passion that I never, I guess, was able to kind of dig into to start. So I had a lot of time and I just went for it. And then, you know, at the beginning, it was just kind of like a hobby that slowly became more of like, you know what, I'll enjoy doing this. I kind of started to get better and better, understanding kind of more how it works. So yeah, it was about 6 years ago. So pretty recent.
So you produce and create songs and write songs in the sort of house dance genre, correct?
Yes, exactly. Produce and write. Yeah. How I would say house, dance, even pop, that whole kind of style.
So now moving into the space professionally, are there any aspects that have surprised you that you did not realize would be part of the process, but is actually?
I think the main thing that surprised me is how many people are involved in the songs that we hear on the radio and the top songs. I used to never realize that there's so many people involved. There's writers, producers, A&Rs, mixing engineers. There's so many people that go into it. So I think that was a big thing that I kind of realized later on. And also that it's a business at the end of the day. As much as it's art, it's also business. So that's another big thing that I guess I realized too.
Do you produce and songwrite everything together, or do you sometimes produce songs by other artists?
Both. The main way I work is, this is probably like 75% of the time, I'll have like a demo instrumental, and then I'll send it out to singers, and then either they'll send me something back, and then we'll kind of work from there. Sometimes I also do like studio sessions or even Zoom sessions where we work on the song together. So it really depends. But I also sometimes, you know, will write something and have like the instrumental, will write something over it, and then kind of have an idea ready that I could send to the singer that they could kind of build off of that idea kind of. So yeah.
So when you're creating, do you know automatically as you're going into it, okay, today's going to be dance, house, or pop, or does it organically unfold as you are creating?
I think it organically unfolds. I do go in with like a certain idea in mind. It's usually based on what I'm listening to at the moment, but I do go in with an idea, but then it's so often it changes. I start with maybe doing a more house and it ends up being more pop or, so it definitely does change a lot. I think you should just go with the flow as you're building the song, you feel what's right for the song.
Do you equally enjoy creating all those genres, or is there any one of those genres that you slightly prefer over the other?
I equally enjoy all of them, I think. I do love when there's good vocals, like lyrics, when the lyrics have a meaning. I'm a big fan of that. So, but I think equally, house, dance, pop, all equally, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the lyrics. I love what you just said there. A lot of people who not necessarily in the industry are just general music fans and enjoyment of music. A lot of them don't share the lyrics of songs. I'll give you a couple of examples. So there's that song by Sia, Chandelier, and it's all about her being an alcoholic, but she sings 1, 2, 3, drink, 1, 2, 3, drink. And it's all breaking of, is she going to stay sober that evening or is she going to fall off the wagon? There's that other song from the 90s by Crystal Waters, Gypsy Woman, the one that goes la-da-dee, la-dee-da, that dance song. And it's actually about a homeless person who's standing at the robot trying to get money to get a bed to sleep on for that night. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just a fun dance song. Now, when you are creating lyrics for the song, you mentioned that you like having lyrics that have meaning. Are you very intentional in wanting the people to get the intention of the song, or are you comfortable allowing them to process it in their own way and in their own time?
I think everyone interprets a song differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think leaving it open to interpretation, for me, the most important thing is that the lyrics, bring some kind of feeling. If it makes them feel happy, great. If it makes them feel this kind of way, reminds them of their childhood, reminds them of a moment of their life. Like, I think that's the most important thing, that through lyrics, you kind of give the listener some feeling, something, that's for me the most important thing.
So we're diving into different avenues here. So you're mentioning lyrics and you're mentioning feeling. So I'm not sure if you are aware of NLP. So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So this is the way people process information. And there's a subsection in NLP called processing skills. Each of us have a dominant one, a secondary, and tertiary. Dominant means that you'll be in most of the day. Secondary, maybe a couple of hours. Tertiary, maybe half an hour. Now, there are 3 of them. You have visual people. Visual people process information through pictures. So as I'm talking now, they'll be creating a picture in their mind of what they're hearing. Auditory people, it's about the words. They understand the word. They put the word into the sentence. They understand the sentence, and so forth. Kinesthetic people is about the body language, the tone of voice, the emotion, and the feeling. Now, focusing on you when you're listening to music, specifically finished songs of your own or others, when you hear those completed songs, are you seeing a picture? Are you hearing the lyrics, or is it about the feeling?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say it's a mix between the feeling and the picture. I'll imagine like what this song reminds me of and imagine the feeling that I'm feeling during that moment. For example, like if I listen to a song that reminds me of, maybe when I was a teenager and like young love, let's say, for example, I'll remember that moment in time and what I was feeling during that moment that it brings me back to. It's a mix of both. Okay. Yeah.
When you're listening to completed songs of other artists in the same genre as you create, are you able to just relax and listen to the songs for what they are? Or is your creative production brain or producing brain unpacking what you're listening to?
I think on a first listen, I try to analyze the song a little bit. And on a second listen, I'll just enjoy the song and like accept whatever decision like producing wise they made and just enjoy the song, because everyone has their own way of producing and this, that. So I think a first listen, I'll be like, oh, this is interesting, and really analyze it. And second listen, I'll just enjoy it.
I know it's all very secretive in your guys' world. Tell us about your latest releases that you've just released, the inspiration behind them, and what can you tell us is coming up?
So I just recently released an EP. So it's 6 different songs that I was releasing one at a time that then became a full EP. Those were really great. I really enjoyed working on those. I think they really represented like my direction and my I guess style. So yeah, those were really cool. I think with those it was a mix of, I know maybe this sounds cliche, but love and heartbreak songs. I like kind of walking the line between, is it a love song or is it a heart? Like it could be both. It could be like, I like walking the line. So I think those were really cool. I really enjoyed releasing those. And yeah, I have a bunch of songs that I'm working on. I have one release coming out, so I'm really excited about, that I made in back in December. I'm just trying to keep releasing consistently and kind of keeping the songs coming and just keep releasing. Yeah.
Any collaborations with any people that you're allowed to tell us are coming out, or is it all still all very secretive?
I'll let the listeners be surprised once the songs come out.
Okay. You referenced the word consistency. How important, specifically in the music space, do you feel that consistency is key? However, we do understand that people have an attention span of 2 seconds these days. And a lot of people are like, you release a song on Friday, by Monday, where's the next song? So how do you fine line that balance of consistency, releasing, and also not giving into the people's lack of attention?
So I think consistency nowadays is so important because, like you said, their attention span is so low. The barrier to entry now is also so much easier. So like anyone could release on Spotify, and like it's so much easier now. So there's so many songs getting released. So if you're not releasing consistently, then you'll just kind of fall behind a little bit. So I think it's super important nowadays to keep releasing consistently. And people's attention span is low, but like if they have to wait and they really want to hear your song, then they'll have to wait. And also, as like a Spotify, like the algorithm is also good to give a few weeks in between releases to really get the release going before you're kind of putting out a new song. So I think that's important to also like promote it, 2 weeks before you promote the song, 2 weeks after you promote the song. You give a good month of promoting it before you're on to the next one. That way every song kind of gets love. Every song, gets cared for, and each song gets loved basically. So
yeah. I love me a CD. I still budget for my CDs every month. For me, it's a thank you to you guys for all the hard work that you do, all the creative process. I love the journey of the booklet, the unpacking, the listening to song from 1 to whatever number. I'm unsure if you are or not aware, there's a massive uptick of physical around the world. I was reading in Variety about 4 weeks ago that in the US last year, there was $1.04 billion spent on vinyls, the biggest since 1983. 2 years ago in the UK, 5.9 million vinyls sold, the biggest since 1993. Last year, also in the UK, there's a basket of products they gauge daily exchanges on, which obviously there needs to be a high number for a product to be in the basket, and they monitor it for tax purposes. Because of the upsurge of CDs again, CDs are now back in the basket. And the research of all of this is showing that it's the teenagers, the younger kids diving into this world, not the older nostalgic people. Then we have the DSPs, the streaming, the Spotify that people consume music on. What is your observation of the landscape at the moment?
Well, I think as everything, when things get too extreme one way, then they'll kind of even out and go back. So I think with the Spotify and everyone releasing all the time, all the releases, I think people are going back to a more like storytelling of an album and a CD and having 18 songs on an album and kind of going back to that and really enjoying the artist and the art and not just the single. Like, people are always releasing singles now. I think it is going back a little bit. I think people also are getting kind of overwhelmed by all these releases, all this, that I think going back to kind of how it was is important, I think, maybe for some people,
Do you think, though, that the general listening public needs to have an understanding of the energy exchange or lack of energy exchange for you guys? I'll give you an example. I teach spinning classes and I decided to do focus groups. So I did a focus group of 10 people, 8 people, and 3 people. Different ages, different cultures, different diversities. They all listen to music on streaming. And I say to all these groups of people, If an artist has had 100 million streams, how much money do they think the artist has got in the back pocket? Now, the first group of people said $50 million. The second group of people said $1 million. And the third group of people said 200,000 to 3 million. And I said to them, actually, no, it's more like a couple of thousand. They were all shocked and horrified. Now, I do know Ray, I know Snoop Dogg, a bunch of different artists are speaking out about it. I have, however, spoken to a bunch of artists to say, okay, they know they're not getting a lot of money, but they see it as their business card. They can see they're popping up in Rome, they're popping up in Lisbon, they're popping up in Toronto, so they can go there and tour and perform and then make money in that space. What are your thoughts around this whole conversation?
So I think I agree with them. I think it's definitely like a landing page. Like they'll find you through a playlist through Spotify. And then the most important thing is that they become a fan, is that when you release, they're listening. When you doing a show, they're there. Because I think at the end of the day, that's how you, I guess, make a steady income, through having like fans, like real people that decide to listen to your music, and they don't find your music on some random playlist. So I think I agree with what they're saying, as like it's a business card. It's a way to find you as an artist, to then become a fan and really get into your music and the rest of your songs, and just kind of when you're doing shows and just stuff like that. I think that's definitely important. Now it's like a bunch of other things like TikTok, Instagram, like great ways to get discovered. You know what I mean? And that's so important. So yeah.
Having started this journey later in life, or later in your journey as in the pandemic, what aspects or what challenges have you overcome in the process, and what have you found easy and taken quick to?
So I think challenging is that I started late. So sometimes you feel like you're behind, you feel like people started 10 years before I did, 5 years. So I'm like, oh, like you compare yourself to other people. I forget to remind myself that we each on our own path, and like we each go at our own speed. So that's an important thing. So that's the one thing that I think is hard to not do, to kind of not compare. I think everyone does it. And the easier thing was, as it was just something that I enjoy doing, it was always fun. It never became like annoying, or never became like something that like I've been doing for so long that it became like I was doing it for fun, and it was just like a fun thing a passion that I was doing. And so I think that was a thing that helped me starting later.
But did you know that you could write songs until you started, or were you surprised that you could?
I was surprised that I could. I was surprised. I definitely surprised myself a lot. I didn't know I had a musical side to me like that. So yeah, even my parents were surprised. We're all surprised.
It's like, oh, well, this is something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love this next game. I know if I had to ask you this question tomorrow, the next day, I know your answer will be different every time, simply because there are millions of them. I understand that, and I recognize that. Again, I'm not saying favorite. If once we finish this conversation, you want to go listen to 5 other artists, past or present, dead or alive, soloists or bands, just top of mind, I feel like listening to A, B, C, D, E. Who would those 5 artists be?
So my 5 favorite would be Kygo, number 1. The Chainsmokers, big fan of the Chainsmokers, that style. Maroon 5. And then probably in a different style would be Patrick Droney. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a singer. He's amazing. So good.
Is he American, or where's he from?
He's American. Yeah. Yeah.
Patrick? Great. How do you Droney?
Yeah, Patrick Droney.
I'll look him up. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, he's great. One more, probably Martin Garrix.
The podcast is listened to throughout the world. As a final message to the audience, what would you like to say?
As a final message to the audience, I would say that if you believe in something, go for it. Do it. I think that's an important thing that I learned through this journey, is if you believe in something and you want to do it, go for it. And believe in your abilities. Believe in in your abilities to do whatever it is. Music, is it sports, if it's this. So yeah, I think that's important. And go listen to my to my music.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Celeb Savant. Please follow Barrett on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Celeb Savant. That's CelebSavant.